Hey there, here it is, my finished strawberry that I got from Five Below, not sponsored, for Punch Embroidery. Here are my thoughts, my reviews, and all that jazz. I give this, I'm going to do strawberries instead of stars. 3 out of 5 strawberries considering the price point that I purchased it for. At $5 to $10, honestly, it gives everything that it claims is in the box. Within reason. And for the price that I'm paying, the quality that came with it was not too unexpected. So for that, it earns some points. But let's get down to brass tacks about this. So the box says that it is pre-printed and pre-framed. And I learned from this project that I don't like pre-framed projects. I don't like pre-framed punch embroidery for a very important reason, and that is that if you can push down and still have the indentation left in your canvas, it is not tight enough. But because it's pre-framed, you can't make it any tighter. So, if you thought that that was going to be a bonus, because I kind of thought that that would be a good thing, pre-framed can actually be more difficult than unpre-framed, however you want to say that. So that was something I learned from this. The other thing that I learned was how it feels to deal with yarn that's not intended for punch embroidery. Now, I can't speak for Five Below behind the scenes, but I can tell you that this yarn definitely felt like it wasn't really made to be used for punch embroidery. And what I mean by that is most kits that I've had have yarn that flows through the needle if they give you the right size needle. There's no way for it to really catch too much because it has the right amount of smoothness to it. I don't know a different way to phrase that. I'm sure there are technical terms for all this. But this felt more like I was using inexpensive yarn that was just for like a quick crochet project. And that's fine. And the good side about that is that if you don't have enough yarn, you could just go and get any yarn lying around the house that's the right thickness, that's the right color. And that's important because they didn't give enough yarn to finish this. Which I don't mind too much personally. I was able to make it work because thankfully I started with the color that they had more of somehow. And so I finished that, worked on the dark red, and then I was able to use what I had left over of the light red until this patch, which personally I think looks like a picture of a strawberry sometimes. How they have different shadings and sometimes they even have that little flicker of white in the corner because the light caught it just right. So I don't mind it being unfinished just a little bit. But if you want it to look like the box, you could get some yarn that you might have lying around in roughly the same color and work on it with that. However, it is difficult to work with because it's not very soft and flowing through that hole very easily. So there was more catching on the yarn. There was more times where the yarn would just pop out while I was working on it. And in a few cases, as you might have seen in an earlier video, it literally was knotted in the middle and I had to stop the project, cut it out, reload the needle, and then start again where I left off. That's not exactly great, but for $5 to $10, that's not exactly terrible either. So for all of these reasons, do I recommend this kit? Do I recommend you go out and buy this for yourself? Well, if you're kind of a beginner, but you've done punch embroidery before and you just want to get an affordable project that you can make for maybe your niece or nephew or grandkiddos, sure, yes, this is cute, easy to work on, ish, within reason, if you're experienced. But no, I do not recommend this for first-timers because it can be really frustrating to deal with canvas that is not stretched enough and with yarn that is not intended to be used for punch embroidery. So easy, yes. Affordable, yes. Beginner, yes. First-timer, no. For all of those reasons, and the fact that they didn't provide enough yarn, in my opinion, I can only give this 3 out of 5 strawberries. But you know what? That's not bad. I mean, for something I paid $5 to $10 for, really, this is pretty cute. And I don't mind giving this to someone. And I don't mind enjoying it myself. So, happy crafting. Thanks for coming along. I hope you've enjoyed following this little project with me. And maybe I'll do some more soon. Who knows? God bless y'all. Ciao for now. Happy crafting. Bye.